Hi, my name is Jenny Lee, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make Yubuchobap, which is a Korean-style Inari sushi consisting of fried tofu stuffed with rice. And I really love this dish because it's something my mom used to make for me all the time when I was a kid in elementary school, so it brings back a lot of great memories. Let's get started. First, you're going to want to gather your ingredients because you want to make sure you're prepared and not having to stop cooking and go looking for things after you've started. The different ingredients you'll need are fried marinated tofu that you can buy ready-made at your local Korean market, rice, sesame oil, black pepper, soy sauce, sugar, salt, really finely minced onion for the meat marinade, minced garlic, half an onion for the rice mixture we'll be making, half a carrot, a stalk of green onion, and ground beef. For this recipe, we made 10 yubuchobap pieces with about 1 pound of rice and half a pound of meat. The amount of seasoning used is much more flexible because it depends on your personal preference and taste. Next, what you want to do is start the meat marinade because you want to get the beef soaking for as long as possible before you have to cook it later on in the process. We'll start by chopping the green onion into smaller pieces, into about 1/4-inch pieces. You don't need to worry about getting them too small because they'll shrink once they come into contact with heat. Transfer the green onion into a small bowl. Then, add in around 2 tablespoons of your finely minced onion. One teaspoon of sugar, some black pepper, 2 to 3 tablespoons of soy sauce,
Taketones.com.
1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil.
Taketones.com.
Then, mix everything together to create your marinade. Once the ingredients of the marinade are fully incorporated together and distributed evenly amongst each other, pour the marinade over your meat. Mix your marinade into your ground beef, using your hands or using a spatula. From experience, it's easier to work with the meat using your hands, but make sure you're wearing a food-grade glove so you don't come into direct contact with the beef. Next, we'll move on to preparing the vegetables for our rice mixture. First, dice half of an onion. I recommend trying to chop them pretty finely because you want to be able to taste the onion in your rice, but not have too much of a bite to the point where it overshadows the other components of the mixture.
Taketones.com.
After, dice the carrot by cutting the stalk into round slices, then julienning it, and then cutting these longer strips horizontally. Similar to the onion, try to dice them pretty finely so you don't get too much of a bite from the carrot later on. After you have your onion and carrots diced and ready, Turn on your stove to medium heat and preheat a non-stick skillet.
TakeTones.com.
Once the pan is heated up, pour in some avocado oil or whatever oil you have in your kitchen, and then pour in the diced vegetables.
TakeTones.com.
Cook the vegetables for about 5 minutes depending on how hot your stovetop at home is. Once the vegetables are cooked fully, not to the point of caramelization and still able to maintain a very slight crunch, pour them over your rice and set this bowl aside. Now take your marinated beef and pour it into your still hot skillet.
TakeTones.com.
Immediately start to break up the meat with your spatula to separate it as it cooks. This recipe uses 96% lean ground beef, although it is up to your preference. I found that from experience, 96% lean ground beef works well with this recipe because the minimized fat allows the meat to stick better to the rice and the vegetables, and it keeps the taste light and not as greasy, especially since the tofu is also fried. Continue to separate your beef as it browns because you want to get the smallest pieces of beef as possible. By this point, your meat should be in pieces about this small. After you're done cooking your ground beef, pour it over your vegetables and rice. Using a rice scoop, mix everything in the rice bowl together until the ingredients are evenly incorporated amongst each other. Take a piece of the ready-made fried tofu and separate it at its opening, holding it in one hand. With the other hand, take a handful of rice, compress it into a ball, and insert it into the tofu. Add more of your rice mixture to fill in the shape of the tofu packet until it is completely filled.
TakeTones.com.
Continue this process until you've used up your tofu packets and/or rice mixture. Arrange your Yubuchobap on a plate and feel free to add colorful garnishes like pickled radish, as pictured here. And with that, voila! You've just made a yummy, nutritious meal. I hope you had fun during this process and learned a lot. This dish is very close to my heart, and I hope you're able to create great memories with it like I was able to as a child. Happy cooking!